The fast-moving storms raced across southern Ontario, the likes many say they have rarely seen before, spawning perhaps at least one tornado that touched down in this neighborhood just north of Toronto in Vaughan, now a disaster zone.
Every door in the house blew in, and it sounded like a bomb, and it looks like the bloody a war zone, to be quite honest with you.
So the wicked boom, boom, that's it.
The roofs of perhaps 24 homes here were simply ripped off, several cars crushed by debris. Many folks were home having dinner at the time and say they had not a lick of a warning.
I was in the basement making a phone call. All of a sudden, all the doors blew open, and we heard a big bang, and I said to my buddy, I got to call him back.
It's a first for me in my 29 years in the fire service to see something of this magnitude in this area.
We stood on the side of the highway as we watched what appeared to be a tornado form. Some Torontonians simply watched in utter amazement. The storm associated with intense lightning and sending people scrambling to their basement for cover.
Things were flying around. It was very scary. You see these kind of things on your HD television, on the movie Twister, but it was real.
There were also reports of damage coming in from the small town of Durham, several hours' drive to the northwest. People said trailers were smashed and several buildings were also damaged.
I saw the whole roof had caved in. And when I went further in, somebody's yelling, help me, help me. And I went in there and I saw a young boy that was around anywhere from 13 to 15. And he was basically covered in blood.
Tornado warnings going up all around what is known as cottage country. The sudden severe weather thought to be the result of sweltering temperatures in recent days. And tonight, the city of Vaughan has declared an emergency and have evacuated more than 100 homes here after these severe storms. Lloyd?
And John, you had the experience this afternoon of driving up there in the middle of all of this. What was it like?
Well, I think my heart is still racing from what we saw this evening. Just absolute chaos. We were headed towards Durham on the highway in the 400, and the cameraman just looked out the window and said, my God, look over there, there's clouds swirling, and I've never seen anything like it in my life. I mean, we literally watched as a funnel cloud came down right before our eyes. We pulled off the highway, there were other people pulling off of the highway, and just standing in amazement seeing this so very close to the city of Toronto, not very far north of the city. Incredible, Lloyd.
Contrasting feelings because terrifying, but exciting to watch at the same time. So what's the reaction tonight of the people in the area around you?
Well, tonight they just continue to walk around in a daze. I mean, they're looking at this damage in these neighborhoods here in Vaughan. They cannot believe the amount of destruction that was done by this storm. What is remarkable is in this particular community, no one was injured. No one was hurt as far as we understand. And that is absolutely incredible when you see these roofs that were ripped off, cars that were tossed around, damaged, big logs that have gone through the windshield of cars, and people saying they had absolutely no warning that this kind of severe storm and perhaps tornadoes was going to happen.
Well, there'll be a lot to talk about tomorrow on this one. Thank you, John.
You're welcome, Lloyd.
CTV Toronto weather specialist Tom Brown has been tracking this storm all evening. Tom, people who were in the center of it say they've never seen anything quite like it. So what made this one so violent?
All the ingredients were there, Lloyd. We had cold air pushing against very warm, humid air. And, of course, as we have a look at this system, this is a cold front that we've been tracking for some time, Lloyd. On this side, we have very warm, humid air. And on the backside, cool, dry air. And, of course, we have about an 8-9 degree difference depending on what side of the front. So we've got this warm, humid air that pushes with daytime heating with a little evaporation. It gets into the upper atmosphere where it collides with that cold air. That spawns off thunderstorms, and those thunderstorms, if the conditions are just right, will spawn off tornadoes.
Looks like it's heading eastward. Is that correct?
As a matter of fact, the whole system is now making its way through eastern Ontario. It'll eventually make its way into Quebec, but I expect these storms to die down overnight because these storms need heat to produce energy. As the temperature cools off, these storms will diminish.
All right, thank you, Tom. And if it's heading toward you where you are, fasten your seatbelts.
Thanks very much, Lloyd.